I am making an updated Red Dragon Archfiend deck profile. I realized I haven't made one since the ban list, so I figured I'd make an update. I say that, but really the only thing the ban list hit was King Calamity, which just makes it so that I can't stop my opponent from using their cards on field anymore. Anyway, starting off with the tuners, I play 2 copies of Synchro and Resonator. Synchro and Resonator can be special summoned from your hand to the field as long as there's a Synchro monster in play. And then Synchro and Resonator is sent from the field to the graveyard. I believe it has to be a Synchro material. Nope. If it's just sent from field to grave, you can target a Resonator other than Synchro and Resonator in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Next, I play 2 copies of Vision Resonator. Vision Resonator has the effect that you can special summon from your hand as long as there's a level, a level 5 or higher dark monster on the field. I always think it's level 6 for some reason. And then if Vision Resonator is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Speller Trap. Yeah, you can add a Speller Trap in your deck to your hand that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend. And you can only use each effect of Vision Resonator once per turn. And I believe... Okay, no, and the only once per turn on Synchro Resonator as its effective summon itself. Then I play 1 copy of Crimson Resonator and Red Resonator. Crimson Resonator has the effect that if it's summoned while the only other monster you control is a Dark Dragon Synchro monster, then you can take 2 Resonators from your deck and special summon them. And then it's also a free body if you control no monsters, but usually you're not summoning it off of its own effect. And then next, however, if you use any of Crimson Resonator's effects, then you would get locked into Dark Dragon Synchros. And then Red Resonator has the effect that when it's normal summoned, you can special summon a level 4 lower monster from your hand. And then if Red Resonator is special summoned, then you can target one special summon monster on the field. Again, life points equal to its attack points. And then you can only use that effect of Red Resonator once per turn. Red Resonator is mostly in here just because it's useful to have if you're getting close to time. Then I play 3 copies of Soul Resonator. Soul Resonator has the effect that when it's normal or special summoned, you can add a level 4 or lower fiend from your deck to your hand. And then, if you control Red Dragon Archfiend, while its cards in your graveyard and a card or cards on your field would be destroyed, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. However, you can only use each effect of Soul Resonator once per turn. Next, I play 3 copies of Red Lotus King Flame Crime. I like the ratio of 3 Flame Crime and 1 Bone Archfiend, but I know some people don't, but so you can also only run 1 Flame Crime and 3 Bone Archfiend. I just prefer it this way because I'd rather see the Red Lotus King for a backup, or as a backup plan, and then... But anyway, Red Lotus King Flame Crime is a free summon while you control a Fiend Tuner. And then when it's summoned, you can activate its effect to inflict 400 damage to your opponent for each fire monster you control. So you can normal summon Soul Resonator, add Flame King, or add Flame Crime, summon it, and then you can inflict 800 damage if you're getting close to time. And then Flame Crime also has the effect that if it's sent to the graveyard as Synchro material, you can send a normal trap from your graveyard or from your deck to the grave. And you can only use each effect of Red Lotus King Flame Crime once per turn. And then Bone Archfiend has the effect that while it's in your hand or graveyard, you can discard a card to special summon it. And then once per turn, you can target 1 monster you control. And that has a level, send a Fiend Tuner from your deck to the graveyard, and then either increase or decrease that targeted monster's level by 1. Which usually what I do is normal summon Soul Resonator, get Bone Archfiend, discard a card, summon the Bone Archfiend. Have Bone Archfiend send Crimson Resonator to the graveyard to make them or make your Bone Archfiend level 3 or your Soul Resonator level 2. Then you tune them for Red Rising Dragon. Red Rising brings back Crimson Resonator, triggering Crimson Resonator's effect to summon both Vision and Red Resonators, and then increasing your life points by 2100. And then where you go from there is entirely up to you, as you can either tune all 3 tuners with Red Rising Dragon for Red Supernova Dragon, or you can just start synchro spamming, make the Scarred, then make Bane, or make Dissipator, and get Red Dragon Archfiend. Then you can make let's see, I think it's Bane. I always get Bane a bit confused. Yeah, it's Bane. Anyway, next I play 1 copy of Bystial Baldric. All of the level 6 Bystials share the effect of you can target a light or dark monster in either player's graveyard, banish it, and if you do, summon this monster. And it becomes a quick effect while your opponent has a monster. And then from there, they all have their own unique effects. Baldric's effect is if your opponent special summons, see, I think it's a ritual or a monster from the extra deck. See if your opponent... If your opponent special summons a ritual, fusion, synchro, XZ, or link monster, except during the damage step, you contribute 1 other light or dark monster. Then target one of those special summon monsters, banish it. No, it's just a way of removal. Then I also play 1 copy of Bystial Magnamut. Magnamut just lets you activate its effect on summon, and at the end of the turn, add a dragon from your deck to your hand. Then my personal favorite of the Bystials is Druisworm. Druisworm has the effect that when it's sent to from, I believe it's field to grave. Yeah, then you can target 1 monster your opponent, 1 special summon monster, I believe. See the 1 monster. Okay, yeah, you target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard. And then next, I play 3 copies of Bystial Sereneer. Bystial Sereneer has the effect that when you send to the graveyard, you can send a Bystial or a branded spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard. And then lastly, for the Bystials, I play 3 copies of the Bystial Lubellion. Bystial Lubellion lets you discard it to add a level 6 or lower Bystial from your deck to your hand. And then you can special summon it from your hand or graveyard by tributing a level 6 or higher dragon, I believe. Okay, level 6 or higher Dark Dragon. You can only special summon it once per turn like that, and then once per turn, you can take a branded continuous spell or continuous trap from your deck and place it face up in your spell and trap zone. And you can use each effect of the Bystial Lubellion once per turn. And that is it for the monsters. If you don't want to play the Bystial things, you can just take them out for more hand traps, as hand traps will make your Red Rising Dragon, or your Red Supernova Dragon, much bigger. For these spells, I play 1 copy of Scarlet Security, 1 copy of Foolish Burial, and 1 copy of Branded Regained. Scarlet Security is just a Harpy's Feather Duster while you control a Red Dragon Archfiend, and I'm only playing 1 of it just because Crimson Gaia can actually grab it from your deck or graveyard. Foolish Burial is only in here as if you have a really bad hand, you can use Foolish Burial to send Vision Resonator to grave, and then grab your Crimson Gaia, which can get Soul Resonator and start that whole 1-card combo. However, if your opponent has something like Draw and Lockbird, then Foolish Burial will probably be a bad idea. And then Brand Regained has 2 effects, one of which is a hard once per turn effect, the other one being a soft once per turn. So you have multiple copies of Brand Regained you can use as many times, or up to once per copy. The once per copy effect is if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, or I believe it's normal or special summons. It might just be special summons. Let's see. Okay, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster except during the damage step, then you can special summon a Bystial monster from your hand or graveyard. And then the hard once per turn effect is if a light or dark monster gets banished, you can target that banished monster, put at the bottom of the owner's deck, and then you get to draw a card. So if you target an effect veiler that's in your opponent's graveyard with a Bystial and banish it, Regained will put the effect veiler at the bottom of your opponent's deck, and then you get to draw one card. Then I also play one copy of Monster Reborn, just lets you summon a monster from either player's graveyard. However, I thought one Monster Reborn wasn't enough, so I also played 2 copies of Synchro Rumble. Synchro Rumble has the effect that you can just target level 7 or 8 dragon monster in your graveyard, special summon defense, but you're locked into Synchro monsters after it resolves. And then if a level 7 or 8 dragon Synchro you control, or the Crimson Dragon, would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Then I also play 2 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords. Return of the Dragon Lords just lets you target level 7 or 8 dragon in your graveyard, special summon it, and then if a dragon monster or monsters you control be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Next, I play 3 copies of Crimson Gaia. Crimson Gaia has 3 effects where during your main phase, you can add a red dragon archfiend or a card that mentions it from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And then when your red dragon archfiend declares an attack, you can change all attack position monsters your opponent controls to defense. And then lastly, if a monster or monsters on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a red dragon archfiend from your graveyard. And you can only use this if you can only use each effect of Crimson Gaia once per turn. Next, I play 3 copies of Resonator Call. Resonator Call just lets you add a resonator from your deck to your hand. Now for the traps, I play 1 copy of Crimson Fire. Crimson Fire is just in here as an answer to burn effects, as one of my friends really likes using Gravedigger Trap Hole against me, where I'll activate Vision Resonator or Synchron Resonator's effects in Grave, or even the effect of a Bystial in hand. He'll activate the trap to then negate that effect and then inflict me 2,000 damage. But with Crimson Fire, as long as I control a Red Dragon Archfiend, I can basically double the damage and inflict it to my opponent instead of me taking anything. So instead of me taking the 2,000, this makes so that my opponent takes 4,000. As if you would take effect damage while you control Red Dragon Archfiend, you can inflict damage equal to your opponent, or to your opponent equal to double the amount of damage you would have taken, while you take nothing. If you don't want to play Crimson Fire, then you can just take it out for Called by the Grave. Next, I play 1 copy of Red Zone. Red Zone has the effect that when your opponent activates a card or effect, while you control Red Dragon Archfiend or a Synchro monster that mentions it, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. And then you can target 1 of your banished Dark Dragon Synchro monsters to special summon it. And then you can only use each effect of Red Zone once per turn. The second effect of Red Zone I actually really like using with the Bystials, as you can have a Bystial target a Red Dragon Archery in your graveyard, banish it, and then you can use Red Zone to bring it right back. Next, I play 1 copy of Red Rain. Red Rain is the normal trap that you will have your Red Lotus King Flame Crime send, as it has the effect while it's in the graveyard that if you Synchro summon a level 8 or higher Dark Dragon Synchro, while its card's in your graveyard, you can return it to your hand. And then it also has the effect where when it's activated, it will make it so that the monster or monsters on the field at the highest level are unaffected by other cards' effects, while banishing every other monster on the field. Which, usually when you activate Red Rain, you're going to have either a level 10 or 12 Synchro monster. So, the only time that's not really going to work is if your opponent's playing something like Yubel. Because then you'll have to have your level 12 monster in play, and then everything else will just get banished. And then lastly, for the traps, I play 1 copy of Branded Beast. Branded Beast has the effect that once per turn you contribute a dragon monster to then target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. You can only use that effect, though, if you control a Bystial. And then its second effect is during the end phase, You can target a branded continuous spell trap in your graveyard and place it face up on your field in your spell and trap zone. And that is it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. For the extra deck, I play 3 copies of Red Rising Dragon. Red Rising Dragon has the effect that when it is, I believe, Synchro Summon. Yeah, when it's Synchro Summon, you can target a resonator that's in your graveyard and special summon it. And then you can also banish your Red Rising Dragon from your graveyard to target 2 level 1 tuners in your graveyard and special summon them. One thing I actually like about this is that you can actually use this effect to bring back 2 copies of Effect Veiler that's in your graveyard. But most of the time when you're using that, it's because you're going to be summoning one of the harder to summon level 10 Synchros in this deck. Next, I play 1 copy of Quibelt the Blade Dragon. Quibelt has the effect that when it's Synchro summoned, you can target a card in the field and destroy it. And then if it's destroyed, you can target a face-up monster on the field and destroy that monster. Field. Oh, my bad. It doesn't destroy it. You make it so that monster can't attack until the end of your opponent's turn. But mainly it's just in here so that if you have to summon level 7 Synchro, you can just summon this and just get to destroy a card. And then you can special summon a Synchron Resonator and tune it with this to then summon your level 8 dragons. I apologize for any background noise. The puppy decided now would be a good time to be as loud as possible. Next, I play 1 copy of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend just has the effect that during the main phase, you can destroy all attack position or all other attack position monsters on the field. However, you can only attack with Hot Red Dragon Archfiend when you use this effect. Then I play 1 copy of Scarred Dragon Archfiend. Scarred Dragon Archfiend has the effect that its name is always treated as Red Dragon Archfiend while on the field or in the graveyard. And then, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Red Dragon Archfiend from your extra deck. And then if it was sent as a Synchro material, you can then destroy all attack mission monsters your opponent controls. And you can only use that effect of Scarred Dragon Archfiend once per turn. Speaking of, I play 1 copy of Red Dragon Archfiend. Red Dragon Archfiend has the effect that when it battles a defense position monster, you can activate its effect to destroy all defense position monsters your opponent controls at the start of the damage step. And then during the end phase, however, it will have a mandatory effect activation that will destroy all your monsters that did not attack. But usually if this is on your field, it's either because you're going to be swinging with everything, or you have a Soul Resonator in your graveyard to protect your monsters that didn't attack. As Soul Resonator can also protect your monsters from destruction, or your cards from your own effect destructions. Next, I play 3 copies of Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend has the effect that its name becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while it's on the field or in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can activate its effect to destroy all special summoned effect monsters on the field that have 3,000 or less, or that have attack equal to or lower than its own, which usually will be 3,000. Mainly because the deck itself doesn't normally have ways of changing its attack points, but opposing decks might. But the fun part of this card is that effect is a soft once per turn effect. So if you can activate it, get it off the field, and bring it back. I mean, it's not like there's 6 or 8 ways of bringing it back in this deck. But then you can use it, get rid of it, bring it back, and you can use it again. Next, I play 1 copy of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. Abyss has the quick effect of being able to target a face-up card on your opponent's field, negating its effects until the end of the turn. And then if Abyss deals damage, you can then target... See, it does target, right? Then you can target a tuner monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So you can have Abyss deal damage, then you can have Abyss target your Red Resonator engrave, special summon it, and then gain 3,200 life points. Then I also play one copy of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. Bane has the effect where once per turn you contribute one monster you control to then target a Red Dragon Archfiend or a Red Dragon Archfiend monster that's in your graveyard to then special summon it. One thing I will go ahead and say now is that Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane, because its effect reads Red Dragon Archfiend monster, it does not count as mentioning Red Dragon Archfiend, so that's just something to keep in mind for a red zone. And then Bane also has the effect that when it deals damage to your opponent, you can special summon two tuners from your one from your one from your graveyard, the other from your deck that have the same level as each other. So you can special summon a Red Resonator from your graveyard and Vision Resonator from your deck, and then gain 3,500 life points. Next, I play one copy of Tyrant Red Dragon Archfiend. Tyrant Red Dragon Archfiend has the effect that Tyrant is the reason why Red Rising Dragon has its grave effect. As you can, if you control Red Dragon Archfiend, you can then banish it, summoning 2 level 1 tuners, and then tune them with Red Dragon Archfiend for Tyrant. As Tyrant is a level 10, requiring 2 tuners and a non-tuner Dark Dragon Synchro monster. You can also make it by tuning 2 level 2 Resonators with Red Rising Dragon. But Tyrant has 2 effects. Once per turn, you can activate its effect to destroy all other cards on the field, which if you have Soul Resonator Grave and control a Red Dragon Archfiend, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. And then during the battle phase, if your opponent activates a trap card, then you can negate it, and then it permanently gains 500 attack. I don't understand why it has this effect when just before that is the board wiping effect. Because your opponent has to activate a trap and not the effect of a trap. And then next, I play one copy of Bystial Despater. Bystial Despater has the effect where you can target a banished light or dark monster, and then summon it to your field. And then also has another effect where when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can target a banished monster, shuffle it into the owner's deck, and then apply one of 2 effects depending on whose deck you got shuffled into. If it was shuffled into your deck, you destroy that monster, but if you shuffle into your opponent's deck, then you negate that monster's effect. And you can only use each effect of Bystial Despater once per turn. Should probably also mention that Tyrant Red Dragon Archfiend is also a once per turn thing. And then lastly, I play one copy of Red Supernova Dragon. Red Supernova Dragon is the reason why Red Rain has its effect, as summoning back to field effect. As Red Supernova Dragon has the effect that when your opponent attacks or special summons a monster, or was it when they activate a monster's effect? I don't remember. Let's see. Once per turn, opponent activates. When your opponent's monster effect is activated or the card is an attack, you can activate Red Supernova Dragon's effect to then banish it until the end of your next turn, as well as all cards your opponent controls. And then it also gains 500 attack and defense for every tuner in your graveyard. And then it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And then that is it for my Red Dragon Archfiend deck profile. I apologize for the puppy being loud. But if you have any ideas what I can do to improve the deck, any ideas for decks like to see be made in the future, or decks like to see face each other, I'm currently working on a Stardust Dragon versus Red Dragon Archfiend video. One of my friends is really close to getting Stardust Dragon built. Or if you have any ideas what I can do to improve the deck, videos like to see me in the future, or decks like to see face each other, comment down below. I always read the comments. I'm sorry for this being so long compared to usual. Thank you for watching.